Hi everyone, so following on from this card, which obviously I'd seen Trenith card creation, something like that, can't remember what her name is, but yeah, I'd seen a picture of hers on Pinterest and I really liked it, and then I saw obviously Mixed Up Craft had done it as well, so I've also had a go. And so off the back of that I thought, hang on a second, that's a 6x6, I'm sure we can do a 5x7 version. Voila, the 5x7 version. So I thought I would go triple diamond on this one, so that's the 5x7. So this is the one we're going to make today. The papers are from Antonio Makes. I'm not sure which pack they're, I can't off the top of my head think what pack they're from, but I'll put it up I'll put it in the description below, so if you want to get this digital kit you can. The flowers that you can see are actually from the Happy Haberdashery kit, which was one of his first kits that he bought out. I think that's still available. It might even be on sale. The Happy Birthday is from Trimcraft. It was one of their ones. And then on the back, I've got more of the papers. And then this was just a little stamp that I've got. I don't know where it's from. It was a freebie, I think. But yeah, so that's the card. It folds flat, and it will fit in a card for a 5x7. The actual footprint is 6 3/4 tall by 5 inches wide, so it's not actually 7 inches tall. But that was just because of the way the diamonds worked. As you can see, I've only just stuck my things down, gems down, so they're starting to move. But yeah, so that's the card we're going to do today. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this version, the 5x7 stack triple diamond card, you're going to need a base card, a main base card, that's 6 3/4 by 9.5. So the overall footprint of this is not quite 7 inches high. It's 6 3/4, but that's fine, we can deal with that. Okay, so on your base card, you're going to score along the long edge at 2.5, at 3 5/8. You're going to make a little mark at 4 3/4, but don't actually score, just a little mark between 4 3/4. Then you're going to score at 5 7/8 and at 7. Okay, and I'm just going to turn this over and make another little mark at the bottom here at 4 3/4, like that. Okay, and then we're going to turn it this way round, and I'm going to go straight into cutting. If you want to score it, you can. But I'm actually going to cut it. Now I'm hoping this isn't going to tear. It might do, but hopefully it won't. So we're going to cut it first of all at 2 1/4, and we're literally going to cut it from this score line up to that score line there. Okay, and then we're going to go down to 4 1/2. I'm doing it backwards because obviously my measurements, but it's 2 1/4 and 4 1/2. And again, you can do the same again. Just cut between those two score lines like that. So you end up with these two cut, and then you've got all your score lines. I'm hoping you can see my score lines, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little diagram now, and it will show you where the rest of the score lines need to go. Now this looks very scary and a bit too much. Okay, now I appreciate that. It's not as bad as it looks. Okay, we're going to go through it. So the lines we've just done this one here, the 2 1/2, the 3 5/8. We've made a mark top and bottom at 4 3/4. We've done the 5 7/8, and we've done the 7 inches. We've cut across between these two lines at 2 1/4 and also at 4 1/2. Okay, so now if we start at the top left hand corner, so the 2 1/2 line, we're going to go all the way down to the far right hand of this bottom of this second cut line, basically. So we're going to take our, what I'm going to quickly just do as well, I'm going to quickly score, just fold these lines so you can see them better. Okay, so hopefully you can see my score lines a bit better now. I've just kind of, that's not necessarily how they're going to stay, I've just folded them for now. Okay, so what I was saying was going to score from this top corner here all the way down to the bottom of this second score line. Now you want to make sure you're really accurate with your scores. If you go off, then what will happen is they won't meet up in the middle. So this bit here where they should cross, they won't cross. Okay, so we've scored there. and we're going to do the same from this one up to that corner there. So you should end up with these two lines crossing over here. I'm trying not to press too hard because I'm using quite thin card, thinner than I really should be using. And so, yeah. So now I'm going to turn my card around like that, and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to go from this top corner to here, and from that top corner to there. Now hopefully you can sort of see the lines I've done so far. Okay, so now all we need to do is go from this middle mark here, and this needs to go down to the side of the first line. So there and there. And then if we turn it round, we're going to repeat the same here. So from that halfway line to there, and from that halfway line to there, the end of the cut. So now you should have all of your score lines in that I've just shown you here. Okay, so we started off doing from the top corner to here, and then from the top corner to here. We turned it round, did the same, which would have been from here to here and from here to here. And then we've just filled in by going from the halfway line to the bottom of the cut, the halfway line to the bottom of the cut, and the same here. Halfway line to the bottom of the cut, halfway line to the bottom of the cut. I find if you just keep turning your card around after every time you've done a set and just repeat the same set, it's easier than trying to work out the upside down version of it. So that's just a little tip for you. Right, so now we've got to go ahead and really work out what's folding what way. So all of our lines going vertically are all going to be valley folds. So I'm just going to re-burnish these as valleys because they were mounting a minute ago. And then what we're going to do is all of the diagonal lines all need to be mounting folds. So what I would do is just really get in there carefully. Now, as I said, my card isn't very thick. I deliberately didn't go very thick just because when I did it, my sample card that I did, that was kind of just like a, you know, a rough one, I used 230 GSM and it wasn't too bad, but I really wouldn't go too thick with it because you really want a bit of, you know, malleability, as it were. So you should end up with that, hopefully. Now I've just kind of roughly done them. So now what I would do is just take one side, pinch these bits in here on all three diamonds and get them so that they all fold down like that. Once they're down, give them a good burnish. Now the card I've used has got a white core and actually it's cracking slightly. So again, bear that in mind when you're choosing your card. You want something that's not going to crack easily, that likes to be folded. Okay, so that's that side. And then we're going to do the same with this side. So we're just going to fold all of these in. Just fold them all in, fold them all in, fold them all in. And get it all nice and flat. And then give it a good burnish so it knows where it's supposed to be. There we go. If you want to, you can turn it over and give it a bit of a burnish as well. Okay, so there is your base. So then on top of this, you're going to need some matte layers and also some pattern layers. So you're going to need 4 matte layers. I've only got 3 simply because I'm using white as my matte, and because you also need a piece of white card to write on for your message. But there's no point having a piece of white matte and then a white card on top of it. So I'm just going straight with that. But anyway, if you're just using a different colour matte, you need 4 matte pieces that are 2 1/4 by 6 1/2. And they're going to go there and there, and then the same on the back. And on top of those, you need 3 pattern pieces that are 2 by 6 1/4. And so these are going to go either side there, and then one will go on the back, but then you also need a white piece that's also 2 by 6 1/4. So that's going to be that one. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick these down. Okay, so there we have it so far. So as you can see, obviously I've got a bigger border here. I should just really have cut out 4 mats and just not done a pattern. But I cut out the pattern and then, well, the white bit, and then realised that I got white mats. Anyway, there we go. Right, and then you need 3 mat squares that are 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. And if you're doing a pattern, you need 3 pattern squares that are 1 1/8 by 1 1/8. I'm not going to do pattern squares on this because I've got embellishments. So these are going to go on here like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those down. Okay, and then I've cut these out from the Happy Haberdashery pack by Antonio Makes, and I thought I'd go ahead and just stick them on there like that. Now I can give them a bit of 3D. I kind of feel like they need to be, like, the petals need curling and stuff like that, but because they're stuck on paper, it just means they don't curl very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just add them onto a bit of vellum and just sort of thicken them up a little bit, or maybe some more thinner paper, just so I can kind of pad them out a bit more. Okay, so I've gone away, I've added some vellum onto the back of these. You can't see it, but I have added vellum, and it just means now I can actually fold and, like, crease up, not crease, whatever the word is, make them curly. Curl up the flowers. So what I'm going to do, and I actually cut out a couple more because I want to lay them up. So I've got some little glue squares, and these are Dovecraft glue squares. These are the ones that are 6mm, they're mini ones. But you could use glue dots, you could use silicone glue, you could use anything. I decided not to bother with that one, the one in the middle, and I'm actually going to go for a greeting in the middle. So I'm just going to cut these up so I can apply them to the back of my flowers. So after all that, I decided I preferred them single. So there you go, we all changed our minds. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and add the greeting on here. And I'm also going to add some little gold gems. These are from Lucy's shop, and they're the Pearls Gold Mix. So I'm just going to add a few of those. Okay, so there we have it, the finished one. I went on and added some gems just on the top and bottom. So yeah, so that's it. And obviously it folds flat. If you squash it all down, it folds flat and it fits in an envelope for a 5 by 7. It actually measures 6 3/4. So 5 by 6 3/4. So it's not quite 7. But it's just that if you go 7, then trying to work out these diamonds is a bit more tricky. So that's why I went to 5 3/4. So yeah, so that's the finished card. Obviously you've got space on the back to write. So yeah, so I hope you liked it. Please have a go, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell if you don't want to ever miss a video, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.